Alright, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ba'd. Leaders. What makes a good leader? And why do we need them as Muslims? It's no shock to you when you read a newspaper and you see what's happening in the world that the future that we're hoping for, inshallah, is beginning to unfold. You know, we're starting to see some really good progress within countries of Muslim populace where people are aware of Islam. And those who are not aware of the details of Islam want to become more aware of the details of Islam. And you can see this in Malaysia. I think I heard on Malaysian television, one of the top-rated shows was the young Imam, yeah, what? What was it, one of the top-rated shows?
I don't know.
Did you watch? Right? Yes? Did you guys watch any of its episodes?
Yeah.
No, she didn't. She was rock climbing. Right? People, even those who are not overly devout, feel that there is always something in their life that's missing. And there is a hole in each and every one of our hearts that can only be fulfilled and filled by the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a person who seeks to be an example for others is really fulfilling the instructions of Allah in the Quran. And on Friday night I was reciting, I think Salat al-Fajr, the end of Surah Al-Furqan, where Allah tells us that Ibadur Rahman, those who are the worshipping servants of Ar-Rahman, the merciful, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they make a dua and they say, وَجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. Oh Allah, make us imams for those who have piety. There is absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be a person that people look up to. And people say, wow, look at this guy, look at this girl. I want to be like them. I wish I could do what they've done. I want to be able to help others the way they've helped. And that's why we had assembled with you, these leaders from society that you live in, not people from overseas or from wherever, but people who are a part of your culture and part of your people who set that example for you, who are leaders. You want to be, when I'm talking about a leader as a Muslim, I want you to be the best doctor you can be, the best plumber you can be, the best car driver you can be, chauffeur if that's your job. Whatever it is that you're in, distinguishing yourself as an example for others to measure themselves by was always the way of the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that requires three essential elements. And this is really my talk with you today about preparing yourself for others to learn from your example, without you saying a word, without you lecturing anyone, without you saying anything. First and foremost is internal piety. Don't fake it. Internal piety. I'm not talking about the external stuff. I'm not talking about what you look at from the outside or how you represent yourself. The internal piety is the most important aspect of your faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Regularly you find, at university anyway in Australia, you come to the musalla, the place of prayer. The brothers are on one side, sisters are on one side. A sister, coming, all the brothers, Assalamu alaikum. They're looking on the ground, right? Prayers are finished, they go back into the university campus. All of a sudden, hey, how you doing, Sally? Oh, yeah. Did you finish that lab? Why don't we work on it together? All right, give me your number. And all of a sudden, this taqwa brother, who was like this, Assalamu alaikum, sister. Alaikum assalam. All of a sudden, in his regular day-to-day life, has no ideals that are firm. It shifts. If he's dealing with Muslims, he does it one way. If he's dealing with others, it's a totally different way, right? That is not internal piety. Internal piety is a steady compass that leads you towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In yourself, you're not faking it. You don't want to misrepresent. You want to be honest with Allah, sincere to Allah. That is because of your truthfulness with Allah. Now, I'm not telling you, well, if you do it with them, you should do it with the Muslims as well. No, it's good that you know what's right and wrong. But you shouldn't embellish it. You shouldn't lose yourself and live a schizophrenic life. What's that schizophrenic life? Where you're double personality. You're two-faced. You're one way in front of your parents, in front of your family, in front of your Muslim friends, and you're totally another way when you're alone, when you're online, when you're, a totally different person with different set of rules and ethics that you govern yourself by. That sets you up for downfall. And Allah promises the one who deceives other in that way, or the one who has that hypocritical capacity, will never find happiness in life. What's happening with Tom Cruise? No, I don't care about his religion. What's happening now? Divorced? I can't believe. Shut your mouth. Really? Tom Cruise? $300 million man can't keep a woman? It's his third wife. Holy cow. First wife, Mimi Rogers, dumps him. Second wife, dumps him. Refused to have children with him. Said, no, you're not fit. I don't want anything to do with you. I got to get out. Third one is now petitioning the courts in America to give her sole custody. She doesn't want him to have anything to do with his child. On what grounds? He's not a fit parent. Tom Cruise, the guy that climbs up Burj Al Arab in Dubai, he makes Spider-Man look bad. What's happening? Because what you see is not the real person. What she sees at home is not what you see on the screen. It's not the glitz and the glamour and the watch and the money and the Ferraris and the chauffeur. That's the same problem. That's what I'm talking about. It's schizophrenia. It's a schizophrenic life. Not clinical, but it's a double persona. It's a double personality. And no one, doesn't matter what your faith, that's why I'm giving you such a, extreme example. No one can sustain it. It's impossible. You cannot live a hypocritical life. It's called cognitive dissonance. You can't do it. By your nature, you want your internal belief to be what and how you live your external life. That's how you are as a human being. And the moment you do that, there's dissonance. It's unbalanced. So you begin to crack. And a lot of the psychological problems that young people endure, a lot of the depression that a lot of young people endure, a lot of those things stem from that. They're asked to be one way, their parents expect one way, but when they're alone and when they're with friends and when they're with other people who don't have those expectations, they live a different way. And they know it's wrong. So they're unbalanced. And it results in self-harm. It results in divorce. It results in losing work. It results in dropping out of school. It results in drug abuse. It results in making, sexual mistakes. It results in all of that. All of that comes because there is that imbalance. Internal piety does not match the external projected image. And a person who is a leader for our ummah has to live that fine line of istiqamah, where what's inside and what's outside come to balance. They come to that middle ground. Second, so the first is that internal sincerity to Allah, that internal piety. Second, is relying on friendship, relationships. You can't be an effective leader without a team of people around you. Can you imagine this camp if it was just me? If I just said, okay, let's come together. Would it have worked? Don't you need people to cook, people to transport, people to clean, people to organize, people to film? You have to have a team. You can't do everything on your own. You can't just put it on yourself and pressure yourself. If I want it, I'll do it. If I just got to work harder. Doesn't work. You have to be able to rely upon others. But those others have to be the right people. You got to choose them. You can't just choose any person for any job. The Prophet ﷺ was a master of that. He chose the right person for the right job, for the right reason, at the right time. And people would sometimes say to the Prophet ﷺ, are you sure you want to send him? And the Prophet said, yes. I know what you don't know. You sure you want to send Usama to be the head of the army where Khalid ibn al-Walid is a soldier in it? Really? Isn't Khalid ibn al-Walid the greatest military commander that we have? The Prophet says, yes, but I want to send Usama. Because I'm raising him to become a leader. He's going to become one of the lions of Islam. Right? Who do you rely on? Who do you befriend? Who do you share your secrets with? Is a very critical decision that you must make in life. Who knows the most about you? See, you guys have seen my young kids, right? Shireen, Umar, and Adam. The greatest influence in their life is myself and their mom. Whenever Umar wants to show off, he's like, Baba, 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 Baba. Yes, ya Umar, show me. In a couple of years, that's going to change. I'm going to stop hearing that. It won't be Baba, Baba, Baba. It'll be who? His friends. Once they reach a certain age, once the formative periods are over, they don't really care what my opinion is. For many of you, you may not care what your parents' opinion are of how you dress, what music you listen to, what things you do, who your friends are. Well, I don't care, right? You now want to impress. You would rather impress your friends than your mom. You respect your mom, but you still care more about what your friends think of what you're wearing than what your mom thinks of what you're wearing. That's the reality of life. It comes to that point where you shift. Now, if you've surrounded yourself by shallow, vain, untruthful, insincere, unethical, un-Islamic individuals, and they become your reference group, they become your mirror that you see yourself through, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble. So your aim is that internal piety becomes external. How's it external? Because the people that you have surrounded yourself with are the mirrors of your life. And the Prophet ﷺ says, Al-mu'minu mir'at al-mu'min. A believer is the mirrored reflection of another believer. You see yourselves in them. You need to be able to see yourself in each other. The common traits of honesty and decency and love and affection and hijab and piety and honoring Allah and honoring your parents. That's what you need to see in your friends. The moment you look at your friend and you can't see what you want to see, you can't see what you expect to see, you need to make some quick changes in your life, because sooner or later that friend, their behavior is going to imprint upon you. That's going to be you. Third aspect of leadership that's extremely important for us is give it your best and leave it up to Allah.